So yeah, let's talk marketing. And this is about karate combat and also about a video I posted on Friday. I posted a video on Friday after kind of thinking on stuff. Oh my God, these subtitles on X are crazy. So I posted this video, some thoughts on Hedera marketing last night. And basically my take on it was, in the video was just kind of like karate combat that happened Thursday evening was just mind blowing. It felt like every influencer, every important person in crypto, Hawk to a Girl, the fighters. On the last one, even before that, Joe Rogan showed up. There was political candidates, RFK showing up. Like there was these high profile people that were posting stuff from Karate Combat that were getting millions of impressions and hundreds of thousands of likes. And like, it was just massive. It was this huge moment. And Hedera Retail embraced it. I showed the sign with Brady. Bonzo Finance was there. Earthlings was there. Twigital was there. The HBAR Bull was like doing a bunch of stuff to help out. And there's just so much groundswell support. And so I think that the community like just knocked it out of the water when it came to Karate Combat, which was incredible. But the thing is as the night was going on and as I was kind of enjoying everything that was happening, I was kind of looking, I was kind of like, wait a minute, I haven't seen any tweets or posts on X from Hedera, which was kind of weird because I was like, literally like this is built on Hedera. Karate Combat is like the coolest use case we have. We're watching mass adoption happen right before our eyes. It's the biggest night in crypto. Everyone's there. Like it was just crazy. You can't even list all the people that were there. And I was looking at the Hedera account and all night, really like there was nothing kind of happening. And I just and not even like, and I'm not even talking just posts to their account, like even just replying to some of those tweets or like having anything to say. And that evening, like before I went to bed, I checked the Hedera account again because I just couldn't believe that they weren't like part of this moment that like is huge. And there was still nothing. And I was just like, what the heck? So I felt like saying something that night, but then I was like, you know what? I'll give it the night, whatever it is. Woke up in the morning and the only thing that was shared was just a simple, like basic repost of the live stream that had ended, that by the way, has over 4.5 million views. So it was one of those things that like, I was kind of like, well, why? Like, this is what we've been waiting for. This is like the huge thing. Like, I also, have, criticized like the marketing at the event from Hedera, like with the advertisement and this and that. I mean, if you've been listening to me, you've heard me ramble on about that. But anyways, like I posted this video talking about it. And essentially like my concern is that watching mass adoption happen right before our eyes and seeing this, the biggest night in crypto unfold, and just Hedera like not leveraging it really in any way. Like that main Hedera account at Hedera is so important for our ecosystem because that's the main touch point for a lot of people coming in. When they discover the network, they definitely go, well, what is the network I want to follow? It same as like the Solano account or the, Algorand account or the whatever it might be. I was just kind of blown away a little bit. And then you expand upon it and you're like, Manson Lehman didn't say anything and the CMO didn't say anything. And it was just kind of weird. And I was like, well, is this what happens when we have like a massive use case, mass adoption, huge event happening and there's no plan? I would have expected at least just a message, like, not even like just Hedera maybe saying like, great night, like shout out to the Karate Combat team. Everything's going well. Or this, maybe something just really even simpler, like, what a knockout evening or whatever, just type something, but they couldn't even do that. It was just hit the retweet button with nothing. So it was just kind of weird. And to me, and I don't like thinking this way, but my brain was like, you know, what's going on with Hedera marketing, because that's really what we've got to be doing. Like, we've got to be on top of that stuff. Ken, I know. And yeah, there was a lot of different stuff happening. Like, for example, we look at an account like Autism Capital, love them or hate them. I mean, 310,000 views. They're kind of like the tongue in cheek account that gets a ton of engagement, right? Like, they're talking about, RFK at Karate Combat taking a selfie. And then they say stuff like, we have no idea what the hell Karate Combat is, but it's an absolute shit show disaster. It's hilarious, blah, blah, blah. It's kind of awesome, to be honest. So there's like this is like the chaotic crypto energy that a lot of people gravitate around. And, it's just, these are things to leverage. You can't buy marketing like this. It's just great. And it's just, these are like the Hedera account, or somebody should be in here engaging with this and carrying on the conversation and leaning into it. Like, this is where the magic happens. And it's great to see, the community jumping in, but again, it's the community jumping in, to kind of make that happen. And also too, we've got, the Huck to a Girl in the audience, chilling out. Again, huge engagement, community members in there. And it's kind of like Hedera is kind of MIA. This is crazy. Like, this is so many eyeballs on this. And again, the Hedera technology, enabling all of this. And so I just kind of found it weird. And it was like, it got me thinking about Hedera marketing and different things like that. And I honestly get really concerned, about it. And so we got a comment here from Martin. There's nothing much to market on Hedera for retail to get excited about. No real staking rewards, no airdrops, and especially no real DeFi ecosystem to promote. I mean, that's a criticism for sure. I would disagree that there's not much. I think that there is actually quite a bit. I mean, we've got Saucer Swap, we've got Bonzo Finance coming, we've got Hashpack, we've got like another great example is, I think it's to your point, Martin, it's also just missed opportunity. Like, for example, the official meme coin of Karate Combat was Bonk, right? Big logo, glowing logo at the top. Yes, we got the Hedera logo in the ring, but with sporting events, it's like, this replay brought to you by Bonzo Finance. There's an official car company there's Karate Combat partnered with DeLorean as the official luxury car brand partnership of Karate Combat. I don't know. Why isn't there an official DEX of Karate Combat, right? Maybe it's a DEX on Hedera. Why isn't there an official wallet of Karate Combat? Why isn't there an official borrowing and lending of, like, they're a crypto project. They want to kind of do those things. They want those sponsorships. In sporting, you see it all the time, like the replay or the segment or whatever brought to you by so-and-so. It's like Karate Combat's going to want money for that placement. Why not have one of the organizations or foundations foot that bill and, kill two birds with one stone? It's like great exposure for these projects on Hedera, stick with the built on Hedera theme, all that kind of stuff. So there's so many different ways we can go. And I totally understand how complex that can be and different things like that. And that's not really my point. My point is really just, why did Hedera not post at least a tweet as it was happening, congratulating the community or congratulating Karate Combat or whatever it might be? That was more so kind of what my kind of point was with the video I posted. And it's just, again, it was just weird. It was a symptom, I think, to a larger issue. And I don't think, and again, maybe I'll frame this a different way, right? Maybe I'll frame this a different way. Let's get away from retail for a minute. Okay. Let's get away from retail and let's talk about maybe enterprise for a minute. Hedera and Lehman and Mance often talk about the fact that there will be major enterprise use cases that go live that they don't know about beforehand because it's an open permissionless network to write to and all that kind of stuff. So they, might not know when, for example, let's say Microsoft, right, launches a use case on Hedera, strictly hypothetically, that is pushing, 10,000 TPS or something, right? And it just goes, oh, here we are, open. Microsoft makes a post about the use case. Maybe they don't mention Hedera. What I would do is if I was Hedera or whoever's in charge of the marketing for Hedera, I would go, okay, step one, right away, right now, drop everything. Can we verify that this is a use case that's leveraging Hedera? It's not that hard to do. We can figure it out. As I was talking before, we can go and hash scan. We can look for accounts. We can reach out to Microsoft. We can be like, hey, are you using our technology? We can look through their manual or their paper or whatever it is, find that, verify that. Great, it's a project on us. Maybe that could happen within an hour or two. Then we could engage with that post that Microsoft made launching their product. And we could kind of, have the Hedera account kind of say, this is so exciting. You don't even have to say like built on Hedera, this is leveraging Hedera technology. You can just literally just engage. You can have the Hedera account say, this is awesome. Make that little connection. The community will look at that and go, oh, wow, Microsoft did this. Hedera gave a thumbs up. Is it using Hedera? It is. And it's like creates that momentum. And then you can start making content about that. You can start doing these types of things. And again, I'm not talking about retail. I'm talking about enterprise. And when you talk about growing the customer base of Hedera, growing Hedera's revenue, getting more enterprise customers, you have to elevate your current customers, right? And that's an example in retail. And so for me, I get nervous and I get worried seeing what happened with Karate Combat, because I kind of go, is Hedera capable of that stuff? Because it's required not just in crypto, but it is required in just the startup space in general, right? Hedera is not a Fortune 500 company. Hedera is a startup, and they gotta operate like a startup. And so that's just kind of what I'm getting at is this is a signal that something isn't quite jiving. And there's huge opportunity here that's not that hard to capture, right? We're just talking about interacting on Twitter, right? We're just talking about sending a couple tweets. It really is things that might take an hour or more of due diligence in some cases, and really a couple minutes. Posting some stuff. And I know that there are concerns about what gets posted, if it breaks the rules, if it breaks regulations or whatever it is. And to be honest, I don't think that an organization should be in a situation where like somebody that's not in marketing can go on a, Slack or whatever and be like, this tweet's bad, take it down. And it gets taken down, right? I think that you do have to have a creative authority especially a startup that can fire from the hip, engage, create a bit of a vibe, have a personality. It is possible. Like, for example, Van Eck, which is a financial institution that was founded in 1955, they've got an NFT as their profile photo. They're embracing crypto. They're seeing a lot of great engagement. They're growing their brand. It's possible. I mean, it's possible for institutions to have a marketing strategy that both is very fast and rapid and has a degen quality to it that can both attract retail, but also give enterprises what they want. Enterprises want to build on networks that are, enterprises want to build on networks that have users, right? Enterprises are telling Hedera, you need more TVL, you need more retail activity, you need more users. So that's just the way that it is. People ask, like, why do enterprises build on Polygon and not Hedera? Why do enterprises build on Ethereum or Solana and not Hedera? It's like, because people are over there. That's what the deal is. And so I think that is kind of what we have to do. And, Martin responds here. Crypto investors are either purists, they never make money, or degens that gamble their life savings on DeFi. We need to focus entirely on the degens or we will lose to lesser chains. That's a way of putting it. And again, it's part of that reality check that it's not about enterprise versus retail. That's a myth. It's much more the way that the president of Hedera, Charles Atkins, articulated it on an X Spaces, and I reference this a lot, is that retail is a stepping stone to enterprise. Enterprise or retail leads the way. And when I say retail, I mean like startups, projects, indie developers, hackers, those types of things. those are what leads the industry. And then those projects get acquired by enterprise. Those enterprises use that technology. So I think that's kind of important to keep in mind. And again, like there's some other great things that happen at Karate Combat. Like if you want to talk about ROI, check this out. This is what I'm talking about. This is the proof in the pudding. This is an interview with probably one of the biggest 15 minutes of fame people, Hawk to a Girl, in front of the Karate Combat logo, the Earthlings logo, the Twigital logo, like Bonzo Finance logo. Like, hello, look at this. Look at that. This is what's called awareness and exposure. This has this post has 840,000 views, 5,000 likes. And the reality is there's 10, 20, 50 more of these with these Hedera project logos in them. So what I would say is thank God that those banners were there, that people got those booths set up, that these projects were present at that event. The work that the HBAR Bull and other folks put into it, like that stuff is so important. Crypto Dad, you Google it. So that's what I'm talking about here. This is the other side to the coin. And this is why we talk about retail paying the bills. Who's bringing the eyeballs to Hedera? Retail. Hedera is just not talking about it. Hedera has nothing to say about this night in Karate Combat. When I say Hedera, I mean the Hedera X account. And, you know, people might say like, well, this isn't something Hedera should be talking about. This is for the foundations or whatever. But like, you know, yes, they should be. There should be a personality behind the Hedera account. It should be contributing to the growth of the network, all that kind of stuff. So anyways, just wanted to share my thoughts on that, my disappointment with whoever's in charge of Hedera marketing and the need for change. Because if this is the way in which we go about embracing new use cases, mass adoption, all sorts of exciting stuff, to be honest, we're screwed. Straight up. Like if this happens again, alarm bells really have to start going off. And when I say this, what I mean is, again, if there's another, for example, Karate Combat evening where, you know, like Joe Biden shows up and Joe Rogan's there and, you know, Bill Hader comes and, you know, Hawk to a Girl comes back over and like celebrities come, like Seth Rogen or whatever. And like, you know, Billy McFarlane is fighting, or these two AI founders are fighting or whatever. It's like, boom, eyeballs, vibes, huge things, so much engagement, so many numbers. And it's like, if Hedera is silent again on that, the Hedera Twitter account is silent on that and can't participate in the fun, have nothing to say about it. It's like, what are we going to do, you know, when it comes to just celebrating use cases being built on the network? I don't know why it is. So I think that that's really where my head is at right now, is like, clearly there's a symptom to a problem here. It's pretty clear to everybody. It's a big issue. What do we do about it? Why is it happening? And how can we prevent it from happening again? What can we do to wake up the Hedera brand? You know, and again, I think that, you know, to play devil's advocate, I think that it's not like people at, you know, these organizations and leadership and all that kind of stuff aren't aware of that issue. I think it's just what is being done to resolve it, because it does feel like we're kind of getting nowhere with that kind of stuff. You know, it feels like this Karate Combat was worse than the last one from a Hedera perspective, from their Twitter account. And there was a lot of call to action. So where do we go from here? What's the plan? What do we do? What do we think about this? I mean, let me know your thoughts and everything like that. But those are my thoughts. I mean, I shared the video on Friday. That's just kind of where my head is at. It's both, you know, in the negative headspace of like, man, does Hedera have the capability to take advantage of opportunities? They're showing that they don't really in a lot of those ways. But then on the other side, it's like, I mean, we've got one of the best retail communities out there. I think that retail alone will carry us. Like, I'm so bullish on that. And I think that overall, I think that evening was probably one of the finest hours of this ecosystem. Not only did the Karate Combat team knock it out of the water, not only did random community members everywhere participate. Not only did we see growth, not only did like the app have a great experience, the people enjoyed it, celebrities were there, like all that kind of stuff. I think that overall, just absolutely incredible. Like, message was received, the community leveled up by 10, and like literally going to the event, like just next level. So overall, I think it's super promising and super awesome. I just think that there is definitely an alarming and frightening symptom from the marketing standpoint from Hedera that was evident that night. So just wrapping up my thoughts on this, I wanted to just share a couple like little, yeah, I mean, honestly, straight up, not a horrible idea, right? Tuagraph, Hawkgraph, Tuagraph. There's something there. I wanted to just share just on the marketing stuff. I wanted to kind of just wrap this up into some examples of this. There is no other organization that is more enterprise than Oracle, right? If I were to say the word enterprise to you, you would go, okay, IBM, Oracle, like these enterprise companies. Oracle is just like one of the most enterprises out there. Larry Ellison, the founder of Oracle, says, or didn't say, but this is from Larry Ellison's biography. Larry put marketing first and everything else second. Average technology and good marketing is better than good technology and average marketing every day. That's just, again, and this is coming from the founder of the most enterprise-ish enterprise ever. So if that doesn't speak volumes in regards to where Hedera's priorities should be, this is where it's at. Also, this was an interesting thing. And again, these are just my background's in marketing as well, right? Like I, have run like a little agency and I've been in marketing a lot of times. I currently work as director of communications for Hashgraph, a mirror node provider. So this is kind of my wheelhouse a little bit. This was just another interesting thing that, again, just a little bit of a tangent marketing kind of stuff, just to add some social proof to some of the points I'm saying. This was also an article from Nike. Folks should kind of go read, but basically, I'll just kind of read this really quickly. This individual posts, even if you're not in marketing, you should read this post from the former CMO of Nike. It details Nike's transition from a brand-driven demand creation engine to a data-driven performance direct-to-consumer model. The results, after the release of Nike's Q2 2024 financial results, they lost $25 billion market cap in a day. So here's the excerpt from the previous marketing guy at Nike with his critique on the new strategy. Nike invested a material amount of dollars, billions, into something that was less effective but easier to measure. And this is a huge problem in enterprise. Everybody's always focused on measuring so much stuff, but especially in crypto, some of the most effective campaigns you can run, you cannot quantify, you cannot measure. Like we saw with Karate Combat. Who knew that, all of these celebrities would be like interviewed in front of project logos on Hedera? You cannot predict that. How do you measure that? No idea. You can add up the impressions from that, whatever. So obviously huge opportunity. How do you take advantage of it? You have to create some kind of narrative around it, but you can't do that. Like in my mind, just putting my marketing hat on, what I would do in this situation is I would go, there's a story here. You could take a clip of Lehman. I'm just thinking about this. You could take a clip of Lehman saying, everyone's going to be using, this technology without even realizing it. That's happening right now. Like Karate Combat is the best example of that. It's this high impact use case built on Hedera that so many people are using that they don't even realize they're using Hedera. Not only that, they're standing in front of logos of things that they think are super cool that they also have no idea they're built on Hedera. Like that's happening. It's magical. And so you can create a story about that and you can kind of fold back to that quote from Lehman. And imagine if Hedera posted a video of that clip of Lehman that was like, people are going to use Hedera and they won't even realize it, and showing some of that and showing the narrative of like, it's true. This is now the truth. It's out there. People are using it. They're getting value from it. Everybody's seeing it everywhere. there's no idea it's happening, but you can fold that into a story, and you have to have that kind of, marketing expertise on that. And so continuing on, right, they say Nike invested billions of dollars into something that was less effective but easier to measure versus something that was more effective but less easy to measure. In conclusion, an impressive waste of money. So that's the other risk, right? You can spend a lot of money on marketing campaigns that you can count little numbers and, make nice little reports. But what it comes down to is awareness and things that sometimes you just cannot measure. So anyways, just random ideas. Also too, a last quick example, just right from the tech space. Peter Thiel, obviously founder of PayPal, investor, controversial figure, but a quote from his famous book, 0 to 1. This is a great quote that I think kind of speaks to this, which is, most businesses get 0 distribution channels to work. Poor sales rather than bad product is most common cause of failure. If you can get just 1 distribution channel to work, you have a great business. If you try for several but don't nail one, you're finished. So that's another perspective on this from the technology business. And distribution can come in the form of how your product is distributed to potential customers, right? So the Hashgraph or the network or HBAR or whatever it is. You have to just get 1 distribution channel right, and you're ahead of the competition, versus trying a bunch and not nailing any of them. And when I talk about distribution channels, obviously we're talking about trading pairs on centralized exchanges for HBAR or more bridges or whatever it might be. If we can figure out how to really amplify these types of things, Hedera can win as an ecosystem. But as we know, again, we do have that kind of distribution problem. We often talk about, what do we have to do to remove barriers for people coming into the network? What can we leverage? And so there's all this capital out there that needs to be put to work, and all this desire for marketing. The blueprints are there. The playbooks are there. You don't have to reinvent the wheel. You just have to go look at, great companies, look at what they do, and, just vibe it a little bit. One last great insight is from actually Apple. I mean, I can't talk about marketing without talking about Apple. Mike Merkel was kind of like the marketing guy for Apple. He had a bit of a manifesto, and there were 3 key points in it that I think I just wanted to highlight as well. And one area that I think Hedera is struggling in is, so part 1 is empathy. So this is kind of the 3 pillars of Apple's marketing strategy from 1977 onwards. So Apple should strive for an intimate connection with customers' feelings. We truly understand their needs better than any other company. So again, Apple is a obviously consumer product company. They're not a distributed ledger technology company, but I think these things still hold true, right? And what that translates to for Hedera is, can Hedera understand the users of the network better than anybody else? That's key. I don't think that that's true. Point number 2, focus. To be successful, Apple should center, and you can replace the word Apple with Hedera, right? To be successful, Hedera should center its efforts on accomplishing its main goals and eliminate all of the unimportant opportunities. And that's key, right? So when we look at main goals, revenue, growing users, growing TVL, ignore everything else, right? What is most important, right? What rings most true? What is enterprise asking for? Focus on those small handful of things, nail them. And then I think this is the weakest area for Hedera, right? Imputing, pillar number 3. And I'll replace the word Apple with Hedera, right? Hedera should be constantly aware that companies and their products will be judged by the signals they convey, right? People do judge a book by its cover. Merkel wrote, we may have the best product, the highest quality, the most useful software, etc. If we present them in a slipshod manner, they will be perceived as slipshod. If we present them in a creative, professional manner, we will impute the desired qualities. So that's the other aspect of this, is you can't just say you've got the best thing. Apple can't just say they have the best computer. They have to impute that. They have to literally present it in a way that demonstrates the quality of that computer. So if you want to demonstrate that your network is, enterprise grade, or ready for retail or better for retail than other networks, you have to also market better than other retail networks. That's just the way it is. The book is judged by the cover. And right now, Hedera, I think, has the best book in the game, but the cover is, again, blank, right? The night of the karate combat stuff, like that right there, biggest night on, like if a book is a story, right? What's the story there? Biggest night in crypto. Everybody's there. It's built on Hedera, just blowing it out of the water. Arguably one of the most exciting use cases in the entire industry. What a great book. Blank cover. Right? No one's going to pick it up off the shelf. And it's a shame because they're missing out on a lot. So what can be done to right the ship with marketing? Because, I'm not going to mince words with that stuff. I do have a marketing background, and it's a shame to see that stuff. I do think that there's more that can be done. And I do think that whatever strategy in place or whoever's driving it needs to really kind of pick their head up and kind of look at some of these principles, look at some of these opportunities, and really kind of get serious about it and remove some barriers. I do think that there are barriers to getting this content out. So, bit my tongue a little bit there.